This is the Blockchain 360 podcast. Blockchain 360 is a podcast of interviews and discussions about the current state and direction of blockchain. Thank you for joining us today. If this is your first time listening, then thank you for coming. The Blockchain 360 podcast is produced weekly for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at our website, blockchain360.co. Come back often and feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter at Blockchain360. All links discussed today are included in the show notes.
Hi, my name is Brian Nielsen, and I'm your host here for Blockchain 360, where we talk about everything blockchain. And my guest today is Ajay Chandhok, and he is from Stratus Cyber. So, Ajay, welcome to Blockchain 360.
Thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure. So I want to know a little bit about what Stratus Cyber does. So help me understand.
All right. So
first of all, where are you located?
So we're located in College Park, Maryland. The majority of our work is in the D.C. area, especially with the federal government.
Oh, okay. And so what is it you specifically do then?
So more specifically, what we do is pretty much everything cybersecurity related. For our federal clients, a lot of what we do is security compliance assessments, as well as penetration testing, vulnerability analysis, and any other security consulting that kind of comes up here and there. For our commercial clients in the area and also out of country, we provide blockchain security solutions as well as managed security services.
So how long have you been offering specifically the blockchain security services?
It's been about 6 months, so a very new field. We've kind of taken our experience in commercial and federal cybersecurity spaces and adapted them to blockchain technologies, ICOs, and pretty much everything blockchain.
Okay, so what brought you to Stratus Cyber?
So,
what's your background?
My background, I spent about 10 years in the defense industry doing a variety of cyber threat hunting, protocol analysis, web development, security analytic development, and from defense contractor had the opportunity to subcontract to the federal government, and that's kind of how Stratus Cyber was born.
Oh, cool. So how old is Stratus Cyber?
Stratus Cyber is about 1 year and 3/4 old.
Have you been with them since the beginning?
Yes, I have. I started Stratus Cyber.
Oh, you were the founder?
Yes, that is correct.
See, that's a good thing. And so you say, though, that you've had, it's a new effort for you for the blockchain security. So explain to me what that really means. What is blockchain security and how is that applicable?
So what we're kind of seeing in the spaces from talking to people is, everyone thinks blockchain is inherently secure by itself. When you think blockchain, you think security. But that is not necessarily the case. There's a lot of security threats to blockchain systems, blockchain companies, and a lot of it is the human aspect, how do you manage keys, interacting with people, Telegram chats especially, websites, those all present threats to blockchain systems and ecosystems.
How does a Telegram chat threaten a blockchain?
So often what ICOs and other blockchain companies do is they have a Telegram chat where they invite anyone from the general community to come join. What often happens is hackers, malicious people join those Telegram chats, they post malicious links, they try to pretend that they're administrators of the Telegram chat, post fake wallet addresses, and so forth, and unsuspecting people fall for it. If they want to donate to the ICO, they'll now send to the wrong wallet address, or they'll click malicious links. So one thing Stratus Cyber does is we have a Telegram security bot, which monitors Telegram chat traffic. It bans people if they're posting Ethereum wallet addresses. It looks for keywords so people don't try to pretend to be administrators. It looks for malicious links. So that at least provides some level of security to the Telegram chats.
Okay, that's a very good use case for what you're doing. What other areas are you have a specialty in?
Other areas are smart contracts.
Okay,
So
how does Stratus Cyber do something with smart contracts?
So smart contract development is tricky. The reason I say so is because blockchain itself is immutable. Once you deploy a smart contract, that code lives on the blockchain
Forever.
as it has been developed.
Right.
So the key is to be able to develop a smart contract in segmented pieces in such a fashion that you have done it securely, very thoroughly, and paid a lot of attention to all the details before you deploy. This includes testing on the Ethereum test networks, doing
Right.
manual auditing,
Right.
and so forth. So along with the development, we do third-party smart contract audits to verify that what our developers wrote it does match the specifications, does not introduce any vulnerabilities into the code, and won't cause any loss of funds.
Okay. So these are some very interesting uses of it. What made you decide to found it? So how did that all work? That you all of a sudden woke up one day and said, hey, I'm going to create this company. So how did that work?
So how did that work? Starting off Stratus Cyber, I've always kind of been in the entrepreneurial mindset. As a defense contractor, it's kind of just waiting till I built up the courage and ambition and the right opportunities.
Like we all do.
Yeah, exactly. Till the right opportunities kind of presented themselves, and they did, and I went ahead and made the jump and started Stratus Cyber. But how I got into blockchain specifically is, I started hearing about Ethereum, Bitcoin, and heard about mining. So I started mining on my own, having a technical background.
Do you still mine?
Oh, yeah, I do. So
how many machines do you have?
I have about 100 GPUs running out of my basement.
Holy
so
smokes.
It's not humongous, but it's not tiny.
Right.
So that kind of what...
So what are you mining?
So right now we're mining Ethereum, Monero, and Zcash. So that's...
What's the distribution of your CPUs to that? GPUs?
About... it's all GPU mining. 90% of it is on Ethereum.
90%?
Yeah, right now. We did have a little bit more Zcash and Monero at one point, but we've since transitioned mostly to Ethereum.
That's an interesting thing. So is that funding your business?
It's some passive income on the side, so it's not really funding my business. But
have you at least recovered your cost for?
Yes, I have. So
how long have you been doing this?
Since last June, approximately.
Oh, so you're a newcomer to mining, and you've actually done pretty good.
Yeah. So right before the crazy wave, I would say last November, December, getting in 6 months before that was pretty beneficial.
Right. Are you breaking even now?
Yes, I've broken even. It took about 5 to 6 months for me to break even, and some of my clients that I also mine for are in the process of it, but it's not as quick right now.
No, it's not.
No, it's not at all.
Even though Ethereum has actually performed quite well in the last week and a half.
Yes, revenues were great around January, I would say,
of
when
course.
Ethereum was around $1,400, so, mining revenue was great.
Right, because I think, what is it, it's 682 right
Yeah.
now? Right.
It tanked down to 300.
Oh my God.
And, just holding on, just
I know.
hodl.
There's the idea of it. I mean, I haven't been mining, but I've been investing in it, and it was, somebody paid me in Ethereum, and they hit that last peak before it fell down.
Oh, no.
And I was like beating myself up saying like, oh my God, I should have been just turning around, changing it to fiat. But I said, I don't need the money, so let me just leave it alone. And of course, it totally returned. I mean, because he paid me when it was, I think, 542, but again, it fell down to 350, whatever, right in that range. So it was crazy. So what brought you to this conference? I mean, here we are at the Washington Plaza Hotel. There's people in the background. There's cocktails being served. So what brought you to this particular conference?
So, kind of a matter of fact, so I live in Arlington, and the Government Blockchain Association, GBA, had a meetup within walking distance of where I lived. I had started mining at this point, so I was kind of just looking around for blockchain and cryptocurrency meetups. Found GBA, went to one of their meetups, kind of introduced myself that I was in the cybersecurity spaces, and they immediately, without any hesitation,
right on you.
Yeah, they without hesitation, threw me under the bus. Like, hey, we need a speaker for cybersecurity, and then I became the working group leader, the cybersecurity working group leader for GBA, and now I run that working group, which is what brought me to this conference today.
Right.
And they have no problem throwing people under the bus.
No.
Which is just fine.
I'm in the same boat. So, where do you see blockchain going, and what are the risks? You're in the risk management solution space. Where do you think blockchain is really going, and what is that direction going to be?
So where I see blockchain going, so I'll focus a little bit more on the security side of things. I see kind of two paradigms. Blockchain being able to provide these new next generation security solutions,
right,
as well as taking a look at blockchain for security threats. So there's kind of two aspects to it, where blockchain, the immutability, the auditability of the technology makes it a prime candidate for things such as security, event monitoring,
right,
configuration management, which are key cybersecurity tools. Along with that, you have the flip side, where you have vulnerability scanning engines such as Nessus, Qualys, and so forth that look at systems for vulnerabilities, but those kind of systems haven't really touched blockchain. There's other application scanning engines out there that look through code for security flaws, and those also have not quite hit blockchain programming yet.
Why is that?
Just because of because blockchain is such a nascent technology, it took several years for even traditional programming languages such as Java, C, to have big suites of automated application testing tools and very thorough procedures and concepts around application security.
Right.
And since blockchain's so nascent, all those concepts are slowly developing. And that's kind of why we have seen a decent amount of hacks on exchanges, wallets, libraries, smart contracts.
These are, the development of wallets and exchanges were never at the level of, say, a real exchange. They had these beginnings that were in like trading cards or trading various attributes or things from games, computer games, and so you didn't need high levels of security. And the moment you introduced money to it, they looked at it and said, hey, what's the difference between trading, armor from this game and trading cryptocurrencies? And it was actually a fair assessment. They're saying, like, they're basically the same. They're digital assets. How do we trade the digital assets? So I've always viewed that exchanges and wallets have been always the weak link. But you're right. That's an important part. We actually have to secure those parts because they are the weak links. The blockchains themselves aren't weak. It's everything that accesses the blockchain.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that, and that seems to be a common myth that you slap blockchain on whatever system it is and it becomes secure, but it is those other human links, the websites, the people, the keys, the ledgers, the paper wallets, the saving your wallet on your computer. Those are the main issue. Those are a lot of the main issues. And you're right. A lot of these exchanges kind of just were born out of someone's basement with an idea.
Right.
They weren't regulated. There were no security regulations around how to develop a secure exchange. Someone just started coding it. Whereas, exchange in the U.S., you have very strict financial and security regulations that you must abide by. Crypto, by its inherent nature, did not have those regulations, and they slowly are, and that's kind of where the security aspect is coming in.
Right.
Once people start losing money, start getting hacked, then those things tend to follow.
Right. Cool. So where do you see the future being? Do you think that we're going to have for example, on your side of things, is there going to be a development of a strong set of suite tools that will actually help developers secure what they're doing? Or are these tools going to be custom built? Or
so
how's
what
that going to work?
So what I'm seeing now is there are a handful of, wouldn't say underground, but projects that people have developed to help understand the logic flow of, say, Solidity code.
Right.
It helps you visualize that, and you can use that to look for security flaws. These are all projects that people have been created out of a need.
Right, correct.
And those will soon or eventually turn into enterprise-level applications.
Right.
Where when people are starting to use Hyperledger within an enterprise, and instead of people solely start automating what they're doing manually, and those will turn into a lot of the automated testing tools that are similar to what people use for Java will now be used for Hyperledger, Ethereum, Neo, whatever other platforms. Those will solely grow organically out of the need to not be hacked.
Right.
Essentially.
Well, as the use of any of these platforms becomes greater, that will be the justification for creating the tools.
Absolutely, and I think enterprises are also keen to develop some of those tools. Even the large security companies like IBM are looking into how do you pen test a blockchain system, how do you secure a blockchain system. Those questions aren't totally answered because it's a totally different paradigm at this point.
Do you think that there's a lot of room for people to actually make it in the security space? I mean, do you think that your segment of the business, especially the blockchain aspect of it, is going to be on an incredible growth curve?
I sure hope so. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
So kind of how I saw the internet and security came in at the tail end of the internet.
Right.
I mean, a few years down the road, people started paying attention more to security. Standards started coming out a lot. Now today, when you think of the internet, you have to think of cybersecurity.
Right.
At this point, you think of blockchain, the first thing you think about is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
That's it.
Security is at the tail end, so hopefully getting in front of that wave as it comes 6 months down the line, because time in the crypto world is 5 times faster than normal.
At least 5 times faster.
Exactly. So I think the wave is coming as the adoption of blockchain systems and technology grows quickly. Security will follow at some sort of staggered time behind that.
Right. Well, do you think that the lack of security options is preventing implementation?
I think it's the lack of expertise at this point. There's a shortage of blockchain experts to begin with.
Right.
It's not easy to go out and find a blockchain developer versus a Java developer.
Right.
So
that's because there's 7,500 blockchain developers and there's 18.5 million Java developers.
Exactly. And with 7,500 blockchain developers, how many of them will be focused on security? Not many. Whereas
7,400?
That's being hopeful. Whereas with Java, C, you have millions. A quarter of them turn their careers into cybersecurity, and you have industries built around that.
Right.
Whereas with blockchain, that'll take time.
All right. Sounds good. I want to thank you for joining me here on Blockchain 360. And I think this is an important aspect that everyone, at least all of the listeners, are going to want to know more about in the future, because blockchain security is really going to be one of the major elements to the success of the technology.
Thank you for having me as well. You know, I sure hope to be back and we can talk about blockchain security again once.
In a more quiet environment?
Yeah. I'm sure there'll be a lot of changes in the next several months.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The Blockchain 360 podcast is produced weekly. Have a question? Want us to interview someone specific? Wish to hear about a particular topic? Let us know. You can email podcast@blockchain360.co or tweet us on Twitter @blockchain360 or at our website blockchain360.co.